Hello everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Esprit, servant of the Lord Jesus Christ. Today I'm going to talk to you about one of the books that I've written called Fractal Trading, subtitled Analyzing Financial Markets Using Fractal Geometry and the Golden Ratio. Very fascinating book and a very useful book, especially for those of you who are trying to invest your own money and keep the sharks from taking your money, that is the brokerage company, stockbrokers and financial advisors and people such as that, financial planners. You want to take control of that aspect of your life because, well, let's face it, you're the only one who really cares. Other people just want to generate a commission, make money off you somehow, and if you happen to lose your money, well, tough luck. But here's a way that you can just purchase a book, read what I have learned over 25 years as a technical trader. And I put it in one book, and it's called Fractal Trading. You want to look it up on Amazon and purchase it. Reading from the inside flap of that book, the author's fractal analysis is a scientifically valid concept having predictive application in diverse fields such as mathematics, engineering, art, science, and even social and political events. Written to be understood by both the professional market analyst and aspiring student, this work explores analytic techniques and observations which can identify the location of current price levels within a large or small time context and project a configuration based on objective criterion that makes possible forecasting subsequent price movements with a high degree of precision. This book is a focused study of select trading techniques that will improve or enhance the skill level of short-term traders and long-term investors positioning for future price changes in any market. There are a lot of original concepts that I developed, inventions, ideas that came from my mind that I put into this book. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about what those are, so that you can get an idea of just how powerful a volume this really is. I talked about the news media disinformation's effect upon financial markets. Most of you are aware enough today to realize that the media and the government are one and the same entity. And they have a common purpose, and that is to deceive and create chaos. So, if you're listening to the news media, well, that's Fox News or just whatever other source you may have, you can be pretty much assured that you're being lied to. And if that is the source of your information for making financial investments, then you are a sucker, and they're going to take your money. What you need is something that is objective, something that is not based upon human frailty, human attempts to deceive you. What you really need is something based on science, valid concept of science, mathematics, geometry. These are the kinds of things that I deal with in this book. So I steer you away from the news media and I point you to concepts that were created by the Almighty Creator, Jesus Christ. He's never wrong. He never makes a mistake. So follow him and you'll do absolutely perfect. I invented the diamond count. That is one of the concepts that I deal with in this book. It really simplifies the counting of fractals, and it makes it very clear an alternative basis where you're at in the cycle, and that's of any degree. We could be talking about millennial cycles, we could be talking about yearly cycles, quarterly cycles, monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, half hour, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute, for those of you with attention deficit disorder. We talked about the golden ratio, arcs and trend lines. The golden ratio is a concept that has been known for a long time. It is defined in terms of a particular ratio of 1.618. Its inverse is 0.618, and it is related to the Fibonacci time series, which I cover in this book in great detail. This concept will help you to objectify in precision terms when markets will turn. Very important concept. I invented fast zones. These are areas in the cycle where you can expect a very abrupt and quick movement. Regression and regression to the mean are statistical concepts. I integrate those in with the fractal analysis. Again, extremely important to understand that we are in a equilibrium state or a disequilibrium state. This all has to do with regression. I talk about capital management, how to use buffers to safeguard your capital. And I use biblical concepts for capital management, so you know that when you're dealing with God's way of conceptualizing how you should manage your resources, that it is absolutely perfect. And that's the kind of analysis that I use when talking about managing your money. Directional arrows, again, another concept that I devised. Very useful for gauging when a market is going to turn. And again, it could be on any time frame at all, from 1 minute to a yearly or a 100-year cycle. It really depends on what framework you're looking in. Buy, sell, and reverse zones, another one of my originals. It really simplifies the process of when should you get out, at what price. I'm talking about zones here, so we don't have to get too particular, but it really does identify within a very narrow range when you should start making a move, when you should be active and not just passively watching the market. Missing and phantom fractals. Here's something I invented. When we're talking about a fractal configuration, there's somewhat of a need to be very, very specific about what is a fractal, what constitutes it. You might be misled if you're not aware of the fact that you could be counting something that's not even there. It has to fulfill certain objective criteria in order to qualify, and I deal with that in that particular section heading. How to handle trade that has gotten out of control. That probably isn't a trader anywhere who doesn't feel panic every time he's in a market that's going against him or her. And it really has a very strong potential for people to be irrational at that point. In other words, they have a knee-jerk reaction. They sell when they shouldn't be selling. They buy when they shouldn't be buying. They're not in the market when they should be in the market, and they're in the market when they shouldn't be in the market. So there's a lot of emotional difficulty with trading. Most people can't handle it, but if you have this fractal analysis, which I have developed, you're going to be very confident that your position is not in jeopardy. In fact, it's actually a very advantageous position. And there are certain things that you can do at that point, whereas everyone else is selling, you're actually implementing a strategic plan that will increase your profit. Risk management, another area that I talk about in great deal, talking about how to limit your risk while at the same time maximizing or optimizing your upside potential for generating profit. And again, not panicking at a time when you should be very cool-headed and collected and knowing exactly what is going to happen next in the market, because you have this fractal analysis that you're referring to, a completed template, if you will, that will enable you to identify where you're at in the overall cycle, whatever degree you're trading. I talked about analyzing the future price trends of the U.S. and gold market, the U.S. economy, as gauged by, say, the Dow Jones or the S&P, and also the gold market. Two very important markets, very large, with global implications. I talk about the future price movement in those markets. Taking the analysis clear out to the year 2020. And if you don't think that that's important, then, well, I guess you better go to your stockbroker and just hope that he's going to be easy with you when he decides to generate a commission because he needs to make another car payment on that Mercedes. I think that you will find that this book, Fractal Trading, Analyzing Financial Markets Using Fractal Geometry and the Golden Ratio, this book, which I have written from my 25 years experience as a market analyst, and which has enabled me to predict throughout the first decade of the new century, predict price movements in the Dow Jones Industrial Average with a very high degree of precision. I hope that you will find that this book will bless you and enable you to prosper far more than you would on your own without this book, or needless to say, with the assistance of someone in the brokerage industry, and that you will not fall for the trap of believing what you hear on the news, in the newspaper, all the disinformation that's out there. Just completely close your eyes to it, close your ears to it, and buy this one book and study it and practice it. And if God be with you, you will succeed.